Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. All of us have to make difficult choices in life about what we can afford. For many of us here, if we are fortunate, one of those choices will have been the number of children we have. We may wish that such an important decision should not be tainted by something as unromantic as money, but that is the hard fact of the matter. Children are wonderful, and I say that as the mum of 3 teenagers. But bringing them up is an expensive business. As Conservatives, we believe in the importance of family, in personal responsibility, fairness, and in living within our means, for each of us as families and as a society. And that is why today we are calling on all MPs here to affirm our commitment to a policy which reflects those principles. Madam Deputy Speaker, let me take a step back for a moment and reflect on the situation we are in as a country. We have 28 million people in Britain who are now working to pay the wages, benefits and pensions of 28 million others. More than half of all households received more in benefits and benefits in kind than they paid in taxes. To spell that out, more people are net recipients than net contributors. That's right now. And every day that passes, spending on benefits is going up and up. Health and disability benefits alone are set to hit $100 billion by the end of the decade. That is more than we spend on defence, on education and on policing. While it may seem kind to spend more on welfare, it's not. It's not kind those trapped in the welfare system and written off to a lifetime on benefits. In a moment. And as we embark on a doom loop of uncontrolled spending, higher taxes, struggling businesses, entrepreneurial exodus, rising unemployment, and then more people out of work and on benefits, it's not kind to those who lose their jobs and their incomes in that cycle of misery. And if the moment comes that we can't afford even to provide welfare to those in desperate need, then it most definitely will not be kind to them, the very people our welfare safety net is meant to be there for. I'm happy to give way to the...
I'm grateful to the Shadow Minister for giving way. She talks about kindness, and does she agree, therefore, with the Children's Commissioner for England, who said children in England are now living in Dickensian levels of poverty, and a principal element of that is the 2-child cap? What element of kindness does she see present in that unfairness?
I don't agree with the honourable member, and I'm coming to talk about poverty in a moment, so if he will just hold on a moment, he will hear my view on that point. Madam Deputy Speaker, this is a ticking time bomb. If we don't solve this problem, our economy will collapse. Yet opposite me sit members of this Labour government who have just shown us, with the welfare chaos of the last couple of weeks, that they will not, indeed cannot, fix this. In fact, they're just making it worse. Honourable members, if you cast your mind back to early 2020, the party opposite were in the midst of a leadership election. The now Prime Minister made a clear and unequivocal commitment to scrap punitive sanctions, the 2-child limit and the benefits cap, his words. Then, once he secured the leadership of the Labour Party and the election neared, he changed that tune. He said Labour were not going to abolish the 2-child limit. He acknowledged the need to take tough decisions and not to make unfunded spending promises, and on this we can agree. But saying that you will take tough decisions is not the same as actually taking them. Take, for example, the Universal Credit and PIP Bill, now just called the Universal Credit Bill, which they voted through last week. It was meant to save $5 billion. Then the first U-turn brought that down to $2 billion. Then the next U-turn brought it down to, well, the minister on the front bench at the time couldn't tell us, but the consensus is that it will now cost the taxpayer around £100 million. Cost the taxpayer. I will happily give way to
my honourable friend's making a powerful speech, and would she agree that as a result of that bill, one of the things that is most shocking is that in due course it will actually pay more to be on welfare than to work full-time at the minimum wage?
Helen Whately. Well, my right honourable friend makes a very important point about the problem of a welfare trap when people find themselves in a situation they would be better off on benefits and indeed instead working full-time on the minimum wage. I will make a little progress and I'll be happy to give way to the honourable lady. As I was just saying, so last week's welfare fiasco saw a bill that was meant to save money become a bill that costs money. We also have had the fiasco of the winter fuel payments cut, where we saw tough talk rode back from, because in fact taking money from low-income pensioners is not the way to make savings. And now here we are debating the future of the two-child limit, which Cabinet Ministers, including the Prime Minister, have indicated is the next tough choice that they are not going to make.
Will the honourable lady give way?
I'm happy to give way to
really sorry for her for giving way. She's been talking a lot about tough choices. Does she agree with me that families that are in work make tough choices every single day about what they can afford and how they spend their money? Does she agree that those who receive benefits should really have to make the same tough choices?
Helen Whately. My right honourable friend makes a very important point, and thoughtfully, it's exactly that many families, whether they are living off benefits or in work, would like to have more children, but have to make these difficult choices about what they can afford. And this is a point about fairness. Now, I know many of the honourable members opposite passionately believe that the limit should go, and they will make arguments today about child poverty, as if they are the only ones who care about that. For the avoidance of doubt, that is not true. Our difference of opinion is about what to do about it. But the Prime Minister, I think all of us are lost to know what he believes in. By contrast, we know what we believe in. We know why we're here. And that's why we have brought forward this debate today on the two-child limit. Because somebody has to make the case for fiscal responsibility, for living within our means, for fairness, for making sure work pays, and for keeping the two-child cap. Now, I want to be clear, in one moment, we all, including us on this side of the House, want children to have the best start in life possible. And let's also be clear about what the two-child limit actually is, because I note that some members from other parties are confused. The two-child limit restricts the amount of additional universal credit that families receive for having children to the first 2 children only, with some sensible exceptions, like twins and non-consensual conception. The cap does not apply to child benefit, which is available to all families with incomes of up to £80,000 for every child, regardless of the number of children in a family. I'm happy to give away to my right honourable friend.
I'm grateful to my honourable friend. I'm proud to be a member of the party of Wilberforce and Shaftesbury and Disraeli, who all understood that it's essential to free people from need, and the state in that effort can be a force for good. But in freeing people from need, we shouldn't limit them to a life of dependency. And it's entirely possible to believe that whilst welfare can be a force for good, so can personal responsibility. And responsibility means making the kind of choices that she set out.
I couldn't put it better than my right honourable friend. I thank him for the intervention. Madam Deputy Speaker, we know bringing up children is expensive and important. When working couples are having to make tough decisions about whether they can afford to start a family in the first place, they should not be made to pay more in taxes to fund their neighbour to have a 3rd, 4th or 5th child. If you're in a job, you don't get paid more just because you have another child. And if we're worried about people getting caught in a benefits trap where it pays more to be on welfare than in work, how much worse would it be with neither the two-child benefit nor the benefits cap? Because it means benefits increased by thousands. And when I say thousands, the House of Commons Library has told me that a family with 5 children would get more than £10,000 extra a year, and a family with 8 children would get more than £20,000 extra a year. That's more than the after-tax income of someone working full-time on the minimum wage. I will indeed give way to the honourable lady.
Giving way. And does she seriously believe that any families out there, anywhere in the country, are going to take seriously the Conservative Party lecturing us on personal and fiscal responsibility, when this is the party that not only brought the economy to its knees through the uncosted promises of Liz Truss's government, but also partied in the back garden of Number 10 when the rest of us were under COVID restrictions?
I mean, if I could just take the honourable lady back a little bit, she might remember when we came into office in 2010, we had to bring down the deficit year after year to get the country's finances under control. Madam Deputy Speaker, giving children the best start in life is not as simple as handing out more money. It's about giving parents the community support they need as they encounter the challenges of bringing up a child, which is why we launched the Family Hubs. It's about education, but school teachers around the country are being let go. It's about growing up in a household with someone in work, but people around the country are being made redundant because of their Chancellor's jobs tax. Now, I know I won't win over everyone here with my argument. For instance, I don't expect to convince the 4 remaining Reform MPs, because their leader has said he would remove the 2-child limit. The honourable member for Clacton believes that's the right thing to do, and he said he's not finished yet on benefits giveaways. But asking the taxpayer for ever more in taxes to pay for their neighbours' benefits is not the right thing to do. The country cannot afford this. Taxpayers cannot afford this. Future generations cannot afford this. The Prime Minister, the Chancellor, Cabinet Ministers have been unable to rule out more tax rises this autumn. Businesses, working people, pensioners, savers, homeowners, whose pocket is going to be picked next? Last week, the OBR warned that the UK's finances are in a very vulnerable position. Now more than ever, we need the government to take the tough decisions, but will they? I know Labour backbenchers are itching to vote to scrap the limit, but where is the government on this? Will they take the position of the Prime Minister in 2020, in 2024, or now? Or will they have to abstain because they just don't know? Madam Deputy Speaker, soon we will see. Only the Conservatives understand the importance of personal responsibility, fairness and living within our means. Labour, Lib Dems, SNP, Greens, Reform all voted for more welfare spending last week. Will they do the same today? Or will they vote with us to back the people getting up every morning, going out to work, doing the hard yards, making the hard choices and working hard to build our country?